I'm so excited to introduce you to this episode's guests, Gail Zelitzky and Catherine Marienau, two extraordinary trailblazers who launched Women Over 70, Aging Reimagined in 2019 to challenge outdated myths about aging. Through their award-winning podcast, they spotlight inspiring women ages 70 to 110 and beyond, proving that relevance, courage, and contribution only grow with time. What started as a podcast has blossomed into a vibrant movement, including the Aging Reimagined Circle, live events, speaking engagements, and more. Their latest insight on adventure: be careful what you wish for. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for you all to meet the one and only Catherine Marienau and Gail Zelitzky. Thank you so much for joining me on Don't Be Caged by Your Age. How you both doing?
Doing great, Andy. Thank you.
Just fine, Andy. So happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Well, talk about the ultimate representation of shattering age related expectations, stereotypes, and limitations. You goddesses have been pioneering this for quite a few years now and inspiring so many people to be excited about aging and at the same time thoughtful and intentional about aging. So I am so delighted that you're here on the Don't Be Caged by Your Age podcast. We are all about aging proud and out loud. So, Catherine, please share with everyone, and then Gail, how old you are, or I like to say, how long has the world been enjoying the gift of your presence, as well as where you live today.
Thank you. The world has been enjoying me for 75 years,
Yay.
and I live a suburb just west of downtown Chicago, which is Oak Park River Forest.
Hooray. Thank you. And Gail?
And I'm not sure the world has been enjoying me for 83 years, but that's how long I've been here. And I live right in downtown Chicago.
Hooray. I love that we have these two Midwest women who have definitely been breaking out of the cages here. Please share with folks what inspired you to start Women Over 70 Aging Reimagined. Was there a defining moment or personal experience that prompted you, compelled you to launch a podcast focused on this stage of life?
Yes. And I will start because I was influenced by my son, who was already in podcasting and was running wonderful events. And so I would go to those events and I would hear all about podcasting and meet lots of different podcasters. And suddenly I realized I was 70. And so I thought, wouldn't it be neat to really listen to other people who were 70? And I talked to the other podcasters and I said, what do you think if I interview 70 women over 70? And Catherine, who was my faculty mentor, and I had just graduated from the school at which she spent many, many, many years, her university, DePaul. And she was my faculty mentor when I went for my master's degree and started at 69 and got it at 74.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me get the clappers out for that. Come on. That is so wonderful. It's never too late, everyone, to pursue a degree. I love that.
And so Catherine and I sat down. We started to meet. We were having dinner one night. And I said to her, I'm thinking about doing a podcast and interviewing 70 women over 70. And Catherine, what did you say?
I think I said something like, I want to do that too. I'm in.
Be careful what you wish for. That was the start.
Well, and I love that you say, yes, Catherine. Yes, I want to participate, not just what I think about it, but count me in.
Yes.
And
Well,
so-
I had been working with teaching and mentoring adult learners for, as Gail says, many, many years, most of whom were women. And I had taught, of course, on women's issues for about 40 years. So as I was anticipating retiring or at least leaving my full-time position, I really wanted to be doing something that was meaningful, that was involving women, that could draw on my interest in qualitative research. And there Gail was. She just handed it to me.
Yay. And now podcasting, of course, I encourage everyone to get into podcasting because I think it's a wonderful way to meet folks and to let the world know what you're up to and add social proof to your profiles and bios and just to have these great conversations. And it's not that intimidating. What did you find out when you decide to get the mic and start the interviewing? Because it's kind of like making pancakes. Sometimes those first few episodes, that's where you learn and grow. You're starting a podcast.
Well, we got together and right away we realized that interviewing 70 women wouldn't be enough, and that we would much prefer to interview women over 70. And that would give us a wide spread and be able to really talk to a lot of people. We dived in properly, you could say. We took a course, a deep intensive for 3 days. We had 10 episodes ready to launch when we did. And yes, it's an art that you learn.
Absolutely. And I've been podcasting since 2012 and live streaming since 2012. Wow. This is my 6th podcast. And I host a monthly meetup called the New England Podcasters Group. So I'm like your son, Gail. I gather people in person every month to help us all learn and grow and collaborate and connect, but most importantly, be with people who get what you're building, right?
Yes.
And so I love that you did one of the most important things, which is to get 10 episodes in the hopper before you actually launch. It warms you up, it gets you ready, and gets you into the cycle of consistency with the podcast. And so I just think this is so fascinating that you wanted to hear women over 70 in their conversations. Had you studied something that made you curious about this? Had you seen ageism in your own life that prompted you to want to give these women voices?
Well, I've always taught older women, and so I've listened to stories for decades. But the person who really got me interested in the aging, older women, was my friend and colleague who, just as she was turning 70, wanted to find out what is it like to be a vital, vibrant woman in your 70s. And so together we did a 10-year study, or longitudinal study of 15 women. And we followed them then from their 70s to really into their late 80s. And so that was what really got me oriented to the aging part. And she's 15 years older than I am. So I follow her in her book. Now she's 91. So I'm ooh, what is it like to be in your 90s?
I just launched this podcast in March of 2024. One of the things I have been hearing, which I did not expect, and I'm sure you have too, are the younger women who are going, oh my gosh, yay, I have something to look forward to. And I often tell folks, and especially women, the women I'm interviewing in their 70s, it's like, I can't wait to get there. It's so many wonderful things are happening. And I never in a million years thought that would be how I would feel, right? So through these conversations with your guests, what have you learned about the realities of aging, both the challenges and the opportunities that you didn't expect when you started your podcast?
Well, we definitely have learned a lot, and all of our guests inspire us. We get off with one guest and we'll say, oh my God, wasn't she wonderful? And then we listen to another guest and we say, oh, she's even better. And then she's just as good as the first one. And it just keeps going that way. And so for 6 years, we've interviewed over 318 women, and a man or two thrown in there. Yes. Yeah.
That's a powerful body of work. And listeners and viewers, FeedSpot, which is an industry platform for podcasts, that's where you get your top 100 of every single category. I often, almost daily, get the most recent episode from your podcast, Women Over 70, Aging Reimagined, and their guests. That's how sticky and relevant and empowering, but also SEO wise, the folks are tuning in, and I'm hearing about it all the time, which is wonderful. And I think it's a great barometer check to the work that you're doing in the body of work. How did some of the women respond to ageism in their lives? What did you take away from that?
I think almost everyone acknowledges that they've experienced ageism, and some have talked about being aged out of their profession, which often happens in advertising and public relations, theater. I think people are becoming more and more aware of the insidiousness of ageism, that those microaggressions, those comments, those often well-meaning, but you know what they are. There's calling, oh, a little miss, and
Young lady.
a young lady, and oh, you look so good for your age. And I have a friend who keeps telling me, to my annoyance, that, oh, he just can't believe how energetic I am and how much work Gail and I are doing. It's like he's proud, but not, I don't want to hear it that way.
Right.
No, you don't.
No.
Yeah. And some of the women really are taking on ageism as a cause, anti-ageism as a cause. So they're writing about it, they're speaking about it.
And so, Gail, as they talk about ageism, we all know in this room right here the decades of sexism we dealt with, right? And then now we get slapped in the face with ageism. Why don't you just go home and take care of your grandkids, okay? It's like,
Right.
what, ambition dies at the age of 65? No. What
No.
did you learn, Gail, from these conversations?
Nothing dies at the age of 65. In fact, many things get stronger. And it's like people believe that, oh, after a certain age, you don't want to have sex. Well, oh my goodness, no, not sex. And happily, there are a number of people writing about that today, about sexuality after I don't know what age, and sex in nursing homes and all. We've been interviewing a number of women lately. The thing about ageism, Andy, is that it's a form of discrimination. And it never was noticed until people like Tracy Gendron started to talk about it and bring it to the front. And the National Center to Reframe Aging began to teach about it. And people would ask us, well, what do you see among all these women? What comes across to you as why are they still vital and vibrant? What makes them different? And so we identified what we call the 9 C's that are pretty constant and within most of the women that we interview. And yeah.
What are they? The 9 C's.
They are curiosity, creativity, courage, commitment, contribution, compassion, and more.
I love that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Folks, we're chatting with Gail Zelitzky and Catherine Marienau, the co-founders and co-hosts of Women Over 70, Aging Reimagined. Please visit their website, Women Over 70, and that's 70, the number, .com, to learn more about their remarkable organization and movement. And what I love that you both did was like, okay, we've been talking to this women. We see a common thread. We see that this is a group of folks who are curious. They want to grow. They have creativity. And we know that ambition, there's no limitation to ambition. It's ageless. So how can we help these women? And so you created a membership group. What has that been like in creating this group of folks where they could go and find commonality and community and a way to collaborate with folks, but also get ignited and sparked by some of the ideas and examples of what other women are doing to help fuel their passion?
So Aging Reimagined Circle came out of our desire to do more. We interviewed these women, then we wanted to get to know them. As I said, they were all so inspiring. And so we wanted to get to know them. And so we started the Aging Reimagined Circle so that we could do monthly programs. And the monthly programs that we do are all interactive. They're low-key, interactive. We don't record them. People join the circle. We welcome guests every month. And we get together and talk about topics that interest women, that are important to women aging.
And we wanted to call on the insight and the expertise of our guests. So most of the programs are facilitated by one of our former guests. Some are experts, they've written books, they've done research. Others are facilitating what we call candid conversations. It's kind of a peer-led conversation. And we have some who have been with us from the beginning, and then others come in. New people are always coming in. A few fade out for a while and come back. But they really, everyone says they appreciate so much how it's a safe space, how deep we can go into conversations, and they feel heard and that they're part of something bigger.
I love that. And what Gail was talking about earlier, exploring our sexuality and our desire after the age of 65. Sidebar, everybody. An online platform I had from 2010 to 2013 was called Bring Back Desire.
Mm-hmm.
And it was for women over the age of 50, because I would say, get out of your head and get back into bed. Because so often we've been taking care of others. We forget that this is a natural part of our own internal makeup, the sexual desire and the level of intimacy that we want to have with our partners is so important, as well as the intimacy we want to have with ourselves and our bodies. So I love that you're talking about all of these important aspects of aging successfully and healthily and intentionally, with the hope, right, that we're going to have a continue to keep thriving.
This makes me think of something else, and that is that it's not all roses and apple pie.
Right.
Because even women who are, especially women who remain vital and vibrant and excited about life and are contributing, they're all big contributors. They wake up every morning and they know that there's something to be done that they want to be a part of. Even them, everyone experiences loss and grief and pains and aches and medical issues. That doesn't stop women from continuing to live.
You can't give up. And also the loss of the body we used to know, right? As all these things start falling apart and fading, and it's a whole new
that up.
it's a whole new level of self-love that we need to get to, and acceptance, right, Catherine?
Absolutely. I moved into a condo recently, and I have a huge bathroom, and it's all mirrors. And when I first moved in, I thought I have got to cover up 3/4 of these mirrors because I can't stand this.
TMI.
Now I'm used to it, and I'm like, oh well, there she is this morning. Good morning.
It really is. We have to take, I think Louise Hay started that whole movement of looking in the mirror and saying, I love you, as a part of a healthy way of honoring yourself. And gosh, and especially since all you have to do is just get online for a second and everything is anti-aging, like something's wrong with you because you're aging. And I interviewed a phenomenal woman. You might want to have her on your show. She's 72, and they did a book called Help, We Can't Stop Aging. And it's so funny, but it's true. You can. You may as well embrace it. And also, Catherine, you're talking about the different memes out there that tell you, where people think they're complimenting you, but it's really a backhanded slap. And this whole embracing aging can be the challenge for so many people when they see those anti-aging messages, where they think something's wrong with me, or why bother, all of those things. What advice do you have, Catherine, for women as they step into their maturity, as they step into their bodies at this age and stage?
Well, I think, as you were indicating, youth is really the gold standard.
Yeah.
To look younger, be younger, feel younger. And so that is not our standard. We need to set our own standard for I'm 75. This is what a 75-year-old looks like.
Right.
There's another 75-year-old that looks completely different, has a different lifestyle. So we are diverse. We are unique in our own skins. And I would say self-acceptance, just acknowledge, be grateful that we're aging. Just be grateful for it. And as you will use the word embrace the freedom that comes with this. I'm awed at how happy so much happier in my 70s. And
aging is liberating. I mean, the responsibilities that we had for years, whether it was societal, institutional, or internalized, thinking that what we needed to do as women, right? That kind of blows up. And all of a sudden, you're free, you're unshackled and unfettered to really, truly explore and make mistakes and do all the things. And you lose a lot of the given a you know what about what other people think as you get through this. And also, comparison is the thief of joy, right? I often hear, 68 is the new 48. I'm like, shut that down right now, people. 68 is 68, and let's honor it. Let's honor the fact that we have these decades of lived experiences. Let's honor the fact that we're still here, right? That yes, we've experienced loss, etc., but can also be such a magical time for pulling on threads and trying new things. And I love that you said that you're happier than you've ever been here in your 70s, Catherine. And honestly, that's what I keep hearing from other folks as well, which is inspiring the 40 and 50-year-old women out there going, what? This is so exciting.
We interviewed a woman who's done research on women in their 80s. She calls them 80 somethings. And she finds that women are even happier in their 80s.
I remember seeing Louise Hay. She goes, this is my 8th decade, and this is my best decade. And I thought, really? Wow. I was much younger than when she said that, but still, she's absolutely right. Are you enjoying this conversation as much as I am, listeners? If so, take a moment to support. Don't be caged by your age. You can show your support by buying me a coffee. That's not literally, of course. It's a simple way to say thanks and help fuel more inspiring episodes that help shatter ageism and help you thrive after 65. Just head over to buymeacoffee.com/Ande Lyons. Every cup makes a difference. So thank you so much. So
Yeah.
gendered ageism is a persistent issue. I brought that up earlier about all the decades of dealing with sexism, and now what? Gendered ageism. And you see it playing out in society in so many different ways. I know just the difference that happened when I turned 65 and showing up at the doctor's office because of Medicare. You get your wellness check, and that's it. They don't seem to be curious about other things going on with your body unless you ask them, or how they treat you by calling you dearie, as if you were a toddler or something. How do you see this playing out in society, and what shifts do you believe, Gail, need to happen for women to be valued and empowered in later life? What have you learned from your community?
I'm happy to say that the shifts are happening. They are taking place, and that women are beginning to be recognized at any age for who they are and what they do in this world. And so I think we've noticed that, first of all, the women we interviewed just keep moving anyway. And so, yes, there is a lot of work to be done in terms of language, in terms of misogyny, in terms of other things of that nature. We're moving there. We're getting there. It's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And aging is not the enemy. And that's what we have to remember. And even though ageism is one of the last socially accepted discriminations that are out there, it's still an opportunity to shift the narrative and shift the landscape. And I love that what you're doing. You all are having live events as well, right? You get people together in person.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that.
Last year we had our very first, what we called a symposium, celebrating who we are as we age. And it was in person, and we were delighted. First of all these people that we interview, we want to see them, get to know, meet them in person, right? And so this gave us an opportunity to do that. And
how many people showed up? And was it in your neck of the woods in Chicago area?
We had 130, a little over 130 participants.
Oh my gosh, that's serious. That's a serious crowd.
Yes.
Part of what made this possible, as one of the senior living facilities in the western suburbs basically sponsored us. They provided the space, the food, it was really wonderful. So we are partnering with them for another one in next October.
Please sign me up. I want to go.
Please come.
I'll be there. Okay, so folks, again, you need to go to the website and also follow Gail and Catherine everywhere they go, but go to Women Over 70, that's 70.com. So, and sign up, subscribe, do all the things, join their community, become a member of this group, because it takes a village to age. And, to cheer each other on, especially as we were talking earlier, we do go through losses and we do go through our illnesses as our body ages. That's just how it rolls.
Mhm.
The other thing I've been giving a lot of thought to as we go through, folks, this is March of 2025. And here in the US, we're going through some real tough times. Trust me, it's not easy. And most Americans are not part of this cruel government that's taking over right now in America. And we will do everything we can to turn it around to a more equitable government and back for the people, by the people, and of the people. But in the meantime, the economy in America is going through tough times. Lots of folks are going through tough times. I see this, Gail and Catherine, as a brilliant opportunity for corporations, organizations to bring on, as consultants or whatever format, the seasoned and experienced person who has dealt with tumultuous times, who has the decades of experience
Mhm.
that I'd say 90% of their current employees do not have for getting through difficult times, for navigating the murky waters. That we've built the understanding of this too shall pass because we've been through it. We had tough times in the 70s, 80s, 90s, the dot-com, when that blew up, real estate market blowing up in 2008. We have been through it all, and we have the muscles and understanding of that. What are your thoughts about this being a great time to bring on as consultants or tap the knowledge for folks, women and men, to help guide us through this tough time?
Mhm.
I think it's a crucial time. It's absolutely crucial. As you say, we've been through many other episodes of change, and not always for good. This month, there's the Chicago Women's History is
Month.
having a conference, their first conference.
Mhm.
And it's about past and present strategies to advance the rights of women. That's the theme. And because of Gail's and my contacts, I'm going to be moderating a panel with three of our guests who've been longtime social activists in the Chicago area, and also has a broader appeal than just Chicago. And so it's an opportunity, I think, to reflect on what has worked, what strategies have worked in the past, which of those would still be necessary, and what are the new ways that we need to approach things. And so these are people, these women and men everywhere, who have the know-how, who can do that.
Oh,
Mhm.
see, this is what we need more of. I think Barbara Brooks in Colorado had a big event as well recently. And we're all old enough to remember our activism in the late 60s and early 70s. And it blows my mind
Yeah.
that with all the work we did so that women could have a credit card in their own name, a mortgage in their own name, all the women's rights that we did, led by Gloria Steinem, Betty Friedan, and more. And I feel like we've gone backwards. My husband and I have already been to 4 protests since inauguration of the 47th president of the US. And for all the rights, civil, women's, gay, etc. This is where our age group could be using, as Gloria Steinem used to say, don't agonize, organize.
Mhm.
And so I love seeing that happen.
We had the honor of interviewing Judy Collins recently.
Oh,
Yes,
seriously?
seriously.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about being an activist at any age, at every age. She is the epitome of that, and still lobbying for rights for everybody, especially women, and especially the LGBTQ community.
Yes.
Yes, very
Gail, is
exciting.
that recent? How did I miss that
You,
episode?
you will be hearing it very soon.
Okay, so it hasn't come out yet. Okay, because I thought I would have been all over that in a heartbeat.
The end of the month, it will be
Oh
released.
my gosh. And next you're going to tell me Joan Baez is coming on, right?
We're
Well,
working on it.
we have a long list.
I bet you do. Because, boy, I don't know if you saw her documentary, but it was so good. And yeah, I mean, the ultimate in Activism, female activism. Oh my gosh. So, for listeners who want to thrive after 65 and are trying to reframe this period in their life and deal with their own indoctrinated limitations that oftentimes we don't even know that we have, that just got formed early on and what we were supposed to be doing and being at this age and stage. What are your top 3 pieces of advice for embracing aging with confidence, purpose, and joy? And you start, Gail, with 3 that you love.
Well, one is to keep looking outside of yourself. The more you see the world and the people in it, the less you're going to be thinking about all those mirrors in your bathroom.
Especially the magnifying mirrors. Oh no.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And you have so many gifts to give. So keep thinking about how you can help others. What can you do? I mean, we don't have to do a lot. It's just a simple smile even makes a huge difference. And I've noticed in Chicago that people are kinder on the street, on the bus. It's really wonderful to see. And the third thing I would say is don't stop. Continue to know that you are valued, that you are wise, that you are loved.
Oh,
Well, I like
that,
all
yeah.
those.
What she said, right,
Yeah,
Catherine?
what she said.
You
I
can-
would just add to that. I think it's really, really important that we come to know ourselves, our authentic selves,
Mhm.
and as love ourselves and advocate. We have to be our own advocates because no one else is out there really doing that for us yet, especially in healthcare, in other areas. And I think to just continue to be curious, to keep learning, to exercise. I just was re-listening to one of our guests, and she's talking about creativity, but it's learn to lead and really create your life creatively.
Mhm.
You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be a Judy Collins with a gorgeous voice.
Or a Martha Stewart.
Right. But it
Doesn't have to be domestic creativity. It can
doesn't
be
know. It's the design of your life. How
right.
do you, the design that you bring to your life. And
Mhm.
sometimes I think that purpose is a little overdone because I think we all need a reason to get up in the morning and give it our all. But let's not hold ourselves against some unrealistic standards. As Gail said, what can I do that will help make the world a little better for
Oh, I
somebody?
love that. I love all of this advice. And we can learn so much from each other and how we're navigating these times and understand too, as you said, Catherine, through knowing yourself, understand how we want to bring ourselves to the world, not looking outside and saying, I want to be like that person or that person, doing the work. And mental health is so important at this stage and age, and nobody talks about it. The mental health component is also something we need to advocate for ourselves. We can still process and do the work and the healing and understanding that's necessary so that we can get out of bed and be our fully expressed selves. Oh my gosh, Gail and Catherine, thank you so much. I want everybody to be sure to go and tune into this wonderful podcast, the Women Over 70 Aging Reimagined. We all need this level of inspiration. I'm going to have the links for both the podcast and the website in the show notes. Also, those watching this video, all that information is scrolling across the bottom in the ticker tape, so you can grab that information from there. Any last thoughts you'd like to share, Gail or Catherine, before we wrap up?
Well, one thing you talked about intergenerational experiences, conversations, and I think that's wonderful, Andy, that you're doing that because it's important that we get together and understand and know and learn from our younger counterparts.
Absolutely. I learned that I had a monthly pitch event here in Boston for 3 years. And that's where I really learned the importance of intergenerational relationships, but it's also where I learned all the ageism stuff too. But yeah, I couldn't get over that my biggest fan club was in the under 30 crowd. But having those conversations, and I do this monthly with the New England Podcasters Group as well. So all ages are represented. And you're right. We learn so much from each other from all the different ages, Gail. And Catherine, any last thoughts?
Well, I'll just put in a plug for our women, our guests. And we have the podcast, we have the Aging Reimagined Circle, and now Gail and we have a book contract to showcase the women around those 9, actually it's going to be the 6 C's, and to showcase our guests and how they are living out those as the courage, the creativity, compassion, contribution, and to show that you can't lump aging women into one universal category. Right. We are diverse, and that's a human development theory that has lasted, that we become more different from each other as we age, and yet we have these key qualities in common. So that's what we're trying to get out.
I think that's brilliant. Listeners, I want you to share your thoughts too. I want to hear what you found out about yourself from this conversation, but also hopping on over to Women Over 70. Let me know what you found over there as well, okay? We're all here to support each other so that we can thrive after 65. And be sure to join the pro-aging movement and subscribe to the Don't Be Caged by Your Age newsletter by visiting don'tbecagedbyyourage.com. I send a newsletter out once a month, and it's a recap of the folks I've chatted with, as well as some wonderful resources to help you uncover and discover things about yourself and what might light you up as you continue to thrive after 65. And please follow and connect with Gail and Catherine everywhere they glow. LinkedIn, Instagram, all the links will be in the show notes. Thank you, Gail and Catherine, for joining me on Don't Be Caged by Your Age. What a treat to spend this wonderful time and conversation with the two of you.
Thank you. It's been a true pleasure, Andy. Thank you.
Yes, it has. Thank you so much.
And as Gail and Catherine have said, listeners, and as I always close out the show with, please remember, you have so much more to give. Don't let those internalized ageist beliefs prevent you from pursuing new dreams and opportunities as you age into your deliciousness. Until next time, I'm wishing you a delicious day everywhere you glow. Cheers from Boston, everyone. Listeners, I'm so grateful you carved out time to tune in and grab the gems from this delicious conversation. Be sure to hop on over to Don't Be Caged by Your Age on LinkedIn or Instagram to share your thoughts about ageism and unretirement. Because in this space, your age doesn't define you, it refines you. If you are inspired by a story you hear, it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe, share, rate, and review the podcast. To receive an alert whenever a new show is posted, please join the Don't Be Caged by Your Age newsletter. Every month, you'll receive links to the podcast and helpful resources for creating possibilities for your unretirement days. Thank you for tuning in. I am so excited to hear how you found ways to thrive after 65. Waving from Boston, cheers.